somebody's glasses. I was looking for Rick.
Careful to stand here. Somebody moved it. Yeah. No, I like it better. I know. That's good. I'm just teasing you. You don't want to bump into it. Probably need a shorter stand. You don't even need a stand. This is fine.
Good morning. Are you ready for today? Yes. It's going to be quite astounding. We got some sort of feedback up here, and I don't know what that is about. I hope it's not me. And so I want to say a big thank you to the people here on the stage, Dr. Judy Blackwelder, Mr. Don Morgan back there on the bass, Ben Travis on some keys right here, Rick Malkin on the drums, and of course, Voices in Unity. Give them another applause. And I want her to stand up for a moment. We have Reverend Cherie Larkin in the house, and we are so excited. You know, Cherie was the minister here from October 2000 all the way to December 2015. So that's quite some time. And she assisted in retiring the mortgage on this whole property. So thank you, Cherie. When someone asked me about Cherie, I said she brought opulence into this place. So yes, you did, and we are so grateful. And I'm getting ready to call Tanya Miller-Heyer up here, and she probably has a little something she wants to say about Cherie, because I think Cherie was the person who was instrumental in Tanya wanting to become a Unity minister. If you look at the program, she is my ministerial intern, and she is on the path to becoming a Unity minister. So, Tanya.
All I have right now is love. All I have right now is love. Do you feel love right now? I feel tremendous love. And it is such an honor to see the lady who brought unity to me, the lady who made me fall in love with unity. And then I get to be mentored by pure success and love with Reverend Denise. You all, this is what unity is all about. This is longevity of love. It's beautiful. So I'm going to invite you into prayer. We're going to just let all the cares of the world just fall away. Shed all that worry of the world. And just bring yourself right here, right into the present. And drop your spirit and mind all the way to your heart. And just let spirit explode into you, into us, into now. For this is what I know. I know there is only one power and presence, one divine energy that flows through all of us, and it is interconnected, universal, divine oneness. And as I am one with this spirit, so is everyone here. So is everyone in this world. And as you bring yourself right here, right now, present in spirit, just be still and know that God is here. Spirit is here, because why? Spirit is everywhere. Spirit is always with us, always pulling us to it, and maybe pushing us a little too. And with that, I know this homecoming goes off with all the celebration and fireworks and love that we all deserve, because that's who we are. We are love. And for that, I'm ever so grateful. Fill yourself with gratitude, because gratitude is here and now. The benevolence of Spirit is always with us. All we do is open to it and say, yes, 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 I am. Send me. And with that, I'm just releasing all of these words, all this knowing, all this oneness, all this spirit, all this love into the law of God in action. And together we say, and so it is.
Everybody look around, cause there's a reason to rejoice, you see. Everybody come out, and let's commence to singing joyfully. Everybody look up, and feel the hope that we've been waiting on. Everybody's glad, cause the silent fear and dread is gone. Freedom to sing, it's got our hearts singing so joyfully. Just like a band, you know what you said, to check it out.
usually do the announcements, and just a little beside myself. Yeah? Usually I do something kind of corny that says, okay, Unity of Nashville, it's time for your Sunday announcements. And it's a cheesy moment, right? It's so much fun, it's so corny, we all laugh. I'm just catching everybody up who's here because we have a ton of fun on Sundays, especially in our celebration. So I'm just gonna jump right in, tell you what's going on. It's amazing how much is going on in our unity now, and I'm so proud. So our youth ministry, we have renovated the entire unity ministry for family and children to carry our future. And I just want to mention that there's a first teacher training. So if you are here and you feel led to carry on our future, to carry on our legacy, we have an after-service teacher training on October 19th. And teachers are the spiritual guides. So we train for that. We know unity basics. We provide a strong support system. And what's really great is lunch is provided. So, that's good stuff, right? You weren't expecting that. I'm just too sentimental today. But also Stephanie Hemley is in charge of a moving time. We're building some file cabinets and bulletin boards and moving them around, and that's Friday, October 10th at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Just get in touch with Stephanie. We also have October 4th, and I don't know if you remember, but this all got going when I was here, when Reverend Cherie had an animal blessing. Do you remember those days? And I think some folks here, Jen was here, and I think she was part of that. It's amazing. We had over 100 animals, at least 100, maybe 200 pets. I'm exaggerating. You know, the stories get longer and bigger as time goes on. So this is at 10:30 a.m. to noon, not a.m., a.m. to noon on October 4th. We're going to be animal blessing again. See, you're still here, right? And then we have a congregational meeting on October 12th after the service. You just don't understand all the work we've done. As a community, I'm just catching you guys up. This is my chance to make some announcements. Listen up. Our community has grown through so much. We've had so many conscious conversations. We are a very close-knit group, and we are growing like crazy because we have great leadership. Contemplative service, as you may have noticed, 10 a.m. We are bringing back the foundational, staple prayer, sitting in silence. That's what unity is built on. Because when we sit in silence, we heal. Tremendous, miraculous things happen when we sit in silence. And our men's support group meets every Monday night, and they've been doing it for so long. The power of now. Isn't that great? Right now, this is where we are. Eckart's Holy. These are great. This is who we study. And this is facilitated by Jeff Fasano. And we are so great right now, so great in unity, that we are expanding into outreach like never before. We are going to share time with other faiths. Isn't that what we're about? Coming together. We are going to sit in the Bellevue Mosque on Tuesday, September 30th. And we're going to share spirit, share our knowing, share our power with other faiths. Isn't that amazing? See, this is all what we are, and we're doing it. And then we have our Wednesdays at Zoom at noon with the prayer chaplains. Jump in, this is easy. We are also continuing the keys to the kingdom. This is all about prosperity and abundance, knowing that we are success in law. Knowing as we move through our love, love comes to us, overflowing. And then we have Friday morning meditations. We're still harmonizing with the divine. Isn't that what we do every day? In the meditation room at 10 a.m. with Reverend Denise. We do yoga. Isn't that fun? But we're not doing it on October 4th because we're going to have the animals here. We could maybe set up some yoga with the animals. That'd be fun, yeah? But we do yoga in the foyer. It's fun. Lots of people come. And then something I'm particularly proud of, I get to co-lead the Women of Unity gatherings with Reverend Pam Carter. And we're doing a painting party. We're bringing in Painting with a Twist from Hendersonville, and they are going to lead us on painting, that very painting you see there, reflections of fall leaves on a lake. How serene, how beautiful, how connecting. And although I'm not probably the one introducing Reverend Cherie, I usually do just a little bit of a thing to entice us to inspire and encourage each other for our meet and greet. I just want you to know, I came to this building because somebody handed me a CD, somebody by the name of Patricia Leffler. And I just want to recognize a couple of my friends who came from my time when I was the shy girl sitting kind of in the back, still figuring myself out. Reverend Denise always tells her story. I haven't told mine yet, so you all can sit here and listen. Patricia gave me a CD of Reverend Cherie in one of our services, and I said, wow, that's amazing. I want to ask Ben to stand up, Jen, and anyone else from the 2011-2012 group. Thank you all for coming to our homecoming. This is our family. This is our forever. And we may not be here very long because a human life doesn't last very long. But the stamp that we do right here, right now, in this moment is forever. In all of our love. So I would like for you to tell your neighbor in this moment. Usually I'm a little more Pentecostal about this, but I want you to say it like you mean it. I want you to say, welcome home. Welcome to your home, our home, because that's what we're celebrating today, being home. Welcome home. You better get up right now and tell your neighbor, welcome home.
It'll be time in just a minute. Yeah, it'll be time. Just a minute.
When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home. I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. Wind that makes the tall grass bend into leaning. Suddenly the snowflakes that fall have a meaning, sprinkling the sea, makes it all clear. Maybe there's a chance for me to go back now that I have some direction. Sure would be nice to be back home where there's love and affection. Just maybe I can convince time to slow up, giving me enough time in my life to grow up. Time, be my friend. Let me start again. Suddenly my world's gone and changed its face, but still I know where I'm going. I have had my mind spun around in space, and yet have watched it growing. If you're listening, God, please don't make it hard to know if we should believe the things that we see. Tell us, should we try and stand, or should we run away? Or is it better to just let things be? Living here in this brand new world might be a fantasy, but it's taught me to love. So it's real to me. And I've learned that we must look inside our hearts to find a world so full of love, like yours, like
Wow. Good morning, I'm Marcia Lewis. I'm one of your chaplains. If you would like personal prayer today after the service, just meet me around the corner there in the prayer station. I'd be glad to be with you. So Rumi likes to talk about home and love. There's a life force within your soul. Seek that life. There's a gem in the mountain of your body. Seek that mine. Oh, traveler, if you're in search of that, don't look outside. Look inside yourself and seek that. If light is in your heart, you will find your way home. Let yourself be silently drawn by the stronger pull of what you really love. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. Laugh as much as you breathe. Love as long as you live. The soul has been given its own ears to hear things mind doesn't understand. Let the beauty we love be what we do. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. And only from the heart can you touch the sky. Your heart knows the way. Run in that direction. And finally, love is the bridge between you and everything. Namaste.
So if you would join me in the song before meditation. I am rich in the love of God. I am rich in the love of God, ever connected to an almighty power, flowing through me now. So just breathe and close your eyes. Just ponder for a moment about the words we just sang together. I am rich in the love of God. And what does that really mean? Charles Fillmore says love is our true essence of being. And so what would it mean for me to be love now? So if you're still in your head thinking, drop those 18 inches to your heart space and just breathe through your heart and feel that love. First, feel that love that is who you are, the essence of who you are. And then just rest in the silence of that love, in the silence. I am rich in the love of God. And we've spent a moment feeling that love that we are. So just focus on a person that you want to share that love with. Even if they're not in this room, you can send it to them now. Just see them surrounded by the essence of love that you are. We are all rich in the love of God. I am rich in the love of God. I am rich in the love of God. Ever connected to an almighty power flowing through me now. So, I have to say that Reverend Cherie has no idea how much she supported me in the beginning of my ministry. Most of you have heard I kind of was tossed into ministry on my head and was in there trying to go through field licensing and get complete. There was also a dear friend of mine in Murfreesboro, Felicia Searcy, that some of you know, that was going through the same program. And know that as both of us were going through that, Reverend Cherie met with us a lot. We had lunches together. And she would tell us, you're doing the work. Just keep moving forward. It's going to happen. And then I don't know if you remember, but the day that John McLean came over and ordained me when I was complete, all of a sudden there was all this chatter in my building. Cherie's here. Cherie is here. And I was like, oh. Because someone that mentors you and helps you through the process, you will always love them. Reverend Cherie, I am so grateful that you're here. Come right up here.
Thank you. A big thank you. Gosh, you know, you try to, as a minister, describe what it's like to have the love current flowing and let it flow in your body, and it's like, it's in me today. Thank you for all of that. I want to just indulge me for a few minutes to call out some names. Phil and Dorothy Pearson were my ministers from the time I was 16 years old until I was 40. And Dorothy passed a few years ago. Phil is still living in an assisted living, wonderful place in Reno, Nevada. I think he turned 98 in July. That if you study the Unity principles, they keep you alive forever. Dorothy lived just shy of 100. The Fillmores lived way up into their 90s. When I call out their names, I want to call the name Wanda Lynch. She was a wonderful, wonderful teacher, and if you sat in her classes, I once called it the lynch mob. She says, don't call it that, Cherie. Okay, the power of the spoken word, don't call it that. Okay, so that, and for every one of you that was on the Board of Trustees while I was here as minister, thank you. You know, we had a journey that was not unlike the journey you've been on for the few years. We had all kinds of things happening that's just church, it's just church. And if you stay the course, you come out the other side more enlightened, I think, and more deepened in your faith. So I thank you for that. When we talk about the fundraising, paying off the mortgage, Dan Easterly and Michael King were instrumental in helping me run that campaign. And just so you know, we paid off $925,000. You did that. You did that. It was no small task, and each one of you were giving from the essence of who you are to make that happen. So it's good to be mortgage-free. I just noticed the slide up there says, what does it say? Hello, Unity of Nashville. Blessings from Unity of Auburn, California. Not Auburn, Alabama. Auburn, California. I had to put California in there. I do have a ministry about 20 miles north of Sacramento as you go up in the foothills. Lake Tahoe looks like this. If you drive up Highway 50 this way, you get to Tahoe. If you drive up 80 this way, you go through Reno. I'm up Interstate 80 at an elevation where the scrub oaks start to turn into evergreens, and it's beautiful. And we have a church there, which we're just in the process of selling. So it's never ending when you're in church. There's always something changing, always something new developing. And they used to do some plays there, and evidently before I got there, they'd done a play that they made a big cardboard yellow submarine that was it's like 8 feet long and 5 feet high, and it has some handles on the back, and I hang on to it. When I found it, they're fussing a little bit. Denise, the congregation fusses sometimes. They're fussing about the move, where will we go, and what about this, and what about that? And I thought, how can I turn that for good? And I thought one day I was driving up to the church in my car, and I thought, we're sailing on the sea of opportunity. And so I take that yellow submarine and I bounce across the stage with it, and I said, we're sailing on the sea of opportunity, everyone, so that we can have a positive thought about what's happening. Well, enough about that. I usually start my messages with a little bit of humor, and it's no different today. I am wearing glasses sometimes now. That's different. Let's see. One day, God looked at the earth and saw all kinds of evil going on. So he sent a couple of angels down to check it out. When they returned, they said, Lord, 95% of the people do not obey your will, and only 5% do. So God decided to email the 5% who were doing good and encourage them. And do you know what the email said? Oh, you didn't get one either? There you go. Busted. But see, I'm used to walking around with my notes. It's kind of nice to have it here at the lectern. Let me see if I can straighten this out for where I am without losing my place. Okay. So, where's the clicker? I have the clicker. All right, let's see if I can work this at the same time. Where do I point it? Oh, there we go. Trainable. I'm trainable. I save all my old sermons. A minister writes 40 to 45 sermons a year. I was here 14 years, so I have hundreds of sermons. And when I got ready to come, I thought, I wonder if I've already given this one. But you obviously didn't get the message, so I'll do it again. I originally called it Pocket Change Gratitude, and you'll see why when we get into the message, but it's also love as presence. Just being present, fully present to whatever's going on in your life that Tanya spoke to so well, being fully present to other people. It's just so loving when you're just there and you're listening and you just give presence. It's very important. So coming home to love is your theme, and I want to share with you today about praise and appreciation. For all the many years this church has been a presence of love and powerful spiritual teachings in the Nashville community. For those of you who are back for the first time in maybe a couple of weeks, it's good to see you, and I hope that you'll continue to come and participate in the services that are here now. We need that for our spiritual growth. The Psalms gives us words. Let's see if I can, well, I think I'm hitting the right button. There I am. The Psalms give us words to fit every human experience. Sorrow, doubt, joy, longing, gratitude. They're raw and they're real when you read them. And they name pain, and they also call out praise. Over and over again, the psalmist returns to praise and appreciation and thanksgiving. He gives thanks for mercy, gives thanks for deliverance, gives thanks for wisdom, gives thanks for strength. He offers praise for justice, praise for faithfulness, praise for beauty, praise for love. There are psalms that lift up hard things to God for intervention. They address doubt and struggles and express confidence and help. And many are centered around praise and thanksgiving. And over, the psalmist tries to teach us the value of giving thanks, of being grateful, living with a grateful heart. This is a whole new thing to me. There it is. Psalm 100. Can you see that all right? Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all ye. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing, which we did this morning, didn't we? Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him, bless his name. For the Lord is good, and his steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations. Hold on, I don't need this, right? Because I have this one. Can I take this out of my face? Thank you. It gives me a little more room. Okay, thank you. So metaphysically, which we always talk about in Unity, metaphysically, make a joyful noise, all the earth, is talking about, isn't a geographical place. All the earth is about the fullness of your being. Let joy be in every part of you, your body, your soul, and your mind. Your whole self. Let it come alive with joy. And I think the choir did a good job today trying to spark all of us to that kind of joy. Even a small amount of appreciation can open your heart like a window, letting in a little bit of light. You know, somebody says, hey, is that a new pair of shoes? Or is that a new haircut? Or you got it going on today. You know, we kind of perk up with that. The Psalms teach us that no matter what's going on in our lives or our circumstances, joy can be found in all kinds of upward focused thinking of your heart. Enter his gates with thanksgiving. It's not poetry, it's an instruction. So as a child, I remember all the excitement when the city installed a public sewer line in our street where we lived. And everybody was quitting their septic tanks and hooking up to the sewer. It was a big deal, you know. And our house sat on acreage, and it sat way back from the road. And back behind the house was the septic tank. So to hook up, there had to be a long ditch that came from around the side of the house, all down the road to the street. And it was a long space. And my dad decided he would dig the ditch. And even though he had arthritis and was recovering from cancer, and he was old, when he was 20, it's like he's 100. You know, some people, they're young, but they're old. My dad was like that. He was old, but he was just old. So he decided he'd dig the ditch himself. That was his way. He had a quiet, steady strength, which my mom would sometimes call stubbornness. And he was going to dig the ditch. So one day while he was digging the ditch and laying pipe, some change fell out of his pocket, and it rolled under the pipe, and he couldn't, his hand was too big to fit under there and get the change. So he decided he'd come in the house and to my brother and me, and it was Saturday morning, as I think it was, because we were probably laying in front of the television watching cartoons, and my dad came in and he said to my brother, he proposed to him that he would get down in the ditch and retrieve the change, he could have it. To which my brother responded, I'm not about to dig in any dirt for pocket change. I mean, the whole room went silent. Even I think the cartoon paused. I'm not sure. Anyway, my dad stood there and he turned to me and he said, "Can you help me, honey?" And I jumped up and we started to walk out to the ditch. And as we were walking out there, my dad said, "Thank you." And you know, 8 years old, you say, "I haven't done anything yet. Why are you thanking me?" And he said, "Because I appreciate you, and I'm glad you're going to come and help me." So I climbed down in the ditch, and I got the change out. I think my reward was maybe 15 cents. But that tiny exchange so ordinary to the surface, has stayed with me my entire life, because I can count on one hand the number of times I was alone with my father in conversation. Any time that we were spending time together. Now, a little bit about my dad. He was born in Belgium, and he immigrated to his mother died when he was 6, so he was an unmothered son, and he immigrated to the United States when he was 10, and then he learned to speak English, and he learned a trade, which was plumbing, and he worked at a factory as a maintenance man most of his life. He married my mother and adopted 2 children, my brother and me, and he worked his whole life to pay off his mortgage and own his car outright. And when he did, he was enormously happy. That was his life. But his old country work ethic taught him to value hard work, family, to respect his possessions and his money. But his health was just such that he could not get down in that ditch and get that change. And so while he didn't want it for himself, he gladly offered it to my brother and to me. He just could not pour a shovel full of dirt over that money. He wasn't going to just let it go. So in this small, unassuming event, I helped my dad, and he was grateful. But what both of us received that day was far, far more than pocket change, way more. And what unlocked that moment was gratitude, appreciation. As I said, I can count on the number of times I spent time with my dad. But after I picked up the change, I climbed up out of the ditch, and I thought, it was a nice day. So I thought, I'll sit on the grass here by him, and we'll talk. For a man who doesn't talk much, you know. And he started to teach me all that was happening with the ditch. Told me all about plumbing, how long the ditch would be, and then he showed me the level. And he said, you know, see the bubble in the middle? The bubble has to be like this for the pipe to flow, so the water will flow and take the stuff out to the street. And what else did he do? He just, all the plumbing information you would ever not want to know or ever use again. He just went on and on and on about plumbing. But it wasn't plumbing, was it? It was love. It was connection. It opened by a simple thank you, honey. Thank you for helping me. Gratitude, I'm supposed to be doing these slides. Here, wait a minute. Are you changing them too? Because I'm not changing them. Are you guys changing them back there? Yes, thank you. Okay. Gratitude, where is that? Gratitude is a doorway, a spiritual enzyme. Am I there? Okay. It transforms ordinary moments into the sacred. And on that day, beside in that quiet place beside that ditch, my dad was no longer a tired older man with health problems. In our togetherness, he was transformed. He became father, laborer, immigrant, cancer patient, yes, but he was father, teacher, master plumber, provider for his family. And he was transformed just by my presence, sitting on the grass and watching him dig. So through those innocent moments, we found ourselves ushered into the kingdom. Ushered into the kingdom. Is that there? No. Do you want your life to be different, more joyful, and more purposeful? I know many people think about being thankful. They think about making a compliment, but they let the moment pass in silence. It's necessary for us to learn to cultivate an attitude of gratitude. It opens us up for a happier, more fulfilled life. So what you focus on expands. That's what we have on the slide here. To focus on what you're grateful for increases it. It's one of the most famous Unity cliches you can say is thoughts held in mind, what? Produce after their kind. Very good, A+. Also, I like to say it, what you think about, you bring about. If you think about positivity, if you think about joy, if you think about appreciation and goodness, you bring more of that into your life. Let's see if I have that one. What you appreciate, appreciates. So put your hand on your hearts and say, what I appreciate, appreciates. Together, what I appreciate, appreciates. Let's say it this way. What I think about, I bring about. What I think about, I bring about. Yeah, so what are you thinking right now? Are you making your grocery list, Suzanne? She told me that's what she does sometimes. I'm not calling her out. All right, so what you think about, you bring about. Scientists are telling us about neuroplasticity, big word. You've probably heard about it though, right? And they're catching up with what the Fillmores taught 100 years ago, that what you think about, you bring about. Dr. Carolyn Leaf, in her book, it's wonderful, Switch on Your Brain, The Key to Peak Happiness, what is it? The Key to Peak Happiness, Thinking, and Health. She shares in that our brains are like plastic, and when we think and hold thoughts, we build new neural networks. And those networks send signals that cascade down into our body. That's why when you're filled with fear and anxiety and anger, it's just nowhere for your body, right? You're damaging your body. So we want to have those thoughts that are positive and appreciative and grateful. Think and hold thoughts that build new neural networks in our brains and have the power and the potential to change not only our health, but our lives, our very lives, our external circumstances. Something she says in her book that's not in my notes, but I just think it's one of her best points, and all the medical people in the audience can correct me afterwards or whatever. We had this conversation yesterday with some friends. Dr. Leaf says, you may have in your genetics, there may be your parents had alcoholism, depression, diabetes, all of those kinds of things. And she said, epigenetics is now telling us that you're predisposed to diabetics, you're predisposed to alcoholism, you're predisposed to whatever, but you're not predestined. You're not predestined because the thoughts in your mind trigger the gene that makes that come to life. So if it's, oh, my mom was always depressed, there's bipolar in my family, you're triggering the gene. Stop. Stop. Your words have power in your body. You may be predestined to something that your parents had, but you are not. You may be predisposed, but you are not predestined. My mother and father, my birth biological parents both died deep, deep in alcoholism. I have 4 brothers, all recovered alcoholics. It missed me. I have the same genes. Why is that? I grew up in Unity. I can only say. It's thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. So, focusing on what you're grateful for increases positive vibrations and feelings of joy. One good feeling builds on another, and then another, and then another, and then you have the life that you want. No matter what's going on, if you stay with appreciation and positive affirmation for your life, you're building a great life. You're building great genes in your body. And then, here's the other clue, giving thanks in advance does even more. When you give thanks in advance, you're building a mental bridge from where you are right now to where you want to be. You're seeing into the unified field. You're seeing into the invisible realm and beginning to create the life that you want. We want to give thanks. In Unity of Auburn, we're giving thanks for our new right and perfect place. We say Unity of Auburn is an idea in the mind of God, and we're going to be expressing someplace new. We don't know what that looks like, but we're giving thanks for it in advance. It ushers you into what the quantum physicists call the unified field. Do I have that up there? Oh, yeah. Okay, Dr. Joe Dispenza reminds us of the importance of spending time in the universal Christ consciousness, in the realm of all possibility. I say I like to get into the realm of all possibility like a gym and shoot hoops in the gymnasium of my mind and create my life, create things for my life. Joe Dispenza asked this question, is it up there? Yeah, how much time and attention do you put on the unified field, that invisible field of love and infinite intelligence that exists beyond time and space? How much are you co-creating your life in the universal Christ consciousness? It's there for you. How often do you spend time in the realm of creation giving thanks for what you hope to receive? Because there's so much power in hope. Charles Fillmore said this way, it's easy to give thanks for what we already have received, but it's not so easy to give thanks for what we hope to receive. Giving thanks in advance sets up an expectation which creates a receptacle of possibility. It carries us beyond doubt and fear and worry and all that stuff into an assumption that something good is going to happen. You have an expectation of good, and that vibration just perks you, and it just creates. It magnetizes you to the good in your life. When you give thanks, even for something you don't yet have, you're shaping your future with your faith. You're shaping your future with your faith. You're giving a pattern to your mind for something good in your life. And you're combining the expectations of hope in your mind with the power of your heart. And that's an unbeatable combination, power of your mind and the power of your heart. So as you take a few minutes to experience that unified field of awareness, not with your three-dimensional senses, but with a prayerful, open consciousness, when you just like we have time in the silence, I love it when everything goes quiet and you're in the silence. You can pave the way for the dynamic life that you want to live. Just allow, I call it that download from God. Just be still and know. And then that idea drops in, or a hunch, or a feeling, or a nuance. So just as my dad did, don't wait to give thanks. Don't wait to give thanks until every prayer is answered. Give thanks for that answer now. Don't wait until things are perfect. Give thanks where you are now, in your current circumstances right now. Looking back, as my dad and I walked to that ditch, I can see how his appreciation opened a field of love between us. It was an unknowing thing. He didn't know what was happening or what he was doing. But because appreciation is love on steroids. It perfumes our hearts. It dissolves negativity. It builds intimacy. It multiplies good. It opens the space for healing. You know, we didn't walk out to the ditch and my dad didn't say, "Oh, your brother." You know, there was none of that. It was just, "I'm glad you're helping me, honey." Kind words of appreciation. Gratitude is a mystical something that converts the energy into love and brings deep connection. Haven't you found in every relationship you've ever been in that appreciation is really a key factor? I'm reminded of the conversation a woman had with me. She said she was driving along in the car with her husband and things were silent between them. And so she said, "What are you thinking about?" very innocently. And he responded, "I was just thinking how critical you are." And she had the presence of mind to say, "Really? Say more about that." Opened herself to that. And he said, "I was just thinking how critical you are to our family and how much your love holds us all together. That our family wouldn't be the same without you." So do you think that appreciation dissolved her original, right? Could time with your loved ones be more pleasant if you had a secret ingredient that just blissed everything out? I'm not talking about medical marijuana in the dessert. I'm talking about love and appreciation as a spiritual enzyme. There's always something we can find to praise, no matter how small it might be, in every situation, regardless of appearances. And it gladdens the whole earth of our being. Make a joyful noise, all the earth. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. I don't know what makes one child refuse to help and another jump up and go out. It wasn't mine to figure out. What I do know is this: those moments with my dad are unforgettable. The energy of love that they created, you can feel in this room here present today, can't you? Because it's exponential. Gratitude and appreciation just go out into the universe and heal and move and change and adjust and bless and enrich in every way. That quirky event ushered us through the gates of heaven into an unforgettable experience where love passed between us. And then as just a PS on the story, I was at my high school reunion years ago, and this man walked up to me and he said, "Are you Paul's daughter?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." And he said, "You know, I just have to tell you," he said, "when I graduated from high school, I was working construction and I didn't go to college. So I decided I'd flip houses. And I bought my first house," and he said, "it was a mess." And he said, "Plumbing leaks everywhere." And he said, "I called several plumbing companies and the guys would come out and say they couldn't get there for 2 weeks or they couldn't do the job or whatever." He said, "And somebody gave me your dad's name." And he said, "Your dad came and he pulled up in the car and he got out of the car and he was hobbling over to me." And he said, "I thought, this guy can't do the job." And he said, "But he talked to me," and he said, "Yeah, he could get it done in the next couple of days." And he said, time was money in getting the house flipped. So he said, "I was back over at the job site on Saturday and your dad was there meeting the county inspector, getting everything approved and signed off." And he said, "I hired him to do all my houses and we worked together for years." And he said, "You know what, one thing I remember that he did," he said, "one of the first things he did is he pulled this level out of his toolbox. And he said, if you look at this level, son, and the bubble in the middle is level," he said, "everything in your life will flow smoothly." And it was like the whole story was coming back all over again all these years later. So the power of gratitude and appreciation to infuse your life for the distance, to go the distance, is amazing. It's truly amazing. So homework, I never leave you without a little bit of homework. This week I invite you to make it personal. For each person you encounter, find one small specific thing. You're the best to praise. It could be, if you live with someone, how they remember always that you like 2 tablespoons of cream in your coffee. Or they remember to unload the dishwasher without being asked. Hallelujah, you know. You can tell them how great their arms feel around you. You can just say the simplest things. It doesn't matter what you choose to recognize. What matters is that you see something and that you say something, right? Because every word of appreciation is a thread in the fabric of love. That fabric will wrap around you and clothe you for the rest of your life. I'm grateful for each one of you, all the joys and the journeys we shared together. I'm grateful to be here today. When I first came to Unity 25 years ago, in 2000, I had just been ordained. The name of the church was First Church Unity. And I always say First Church was my first church. And I'm so glad you took a chance on me, because I'd never been a minister anywhere. And I continue to bless you and hold this ministry in my prayers. And today I affirm together we share a beautiful, blessed, gratitude-filled homecoming celebration, coming home to the heart. And may you find again and again the love that's always just one thank you away. God bless you, each and every one.
Before we sing this song, I want you to know that this is an original Dr. Judy Blackwelder for this event. Thank you.
There's a place deep inside my heart that I'm so grateful for, where I'm always welcome. Love unlocks the door
am loved, I belong. I feel the joy of singing an old familiar song. Wherever journey takes me, wherever I may roam, I know my heart will always bring me home. It's my refuge, my shelter from the storm, where I find amazing grace, where my faith is born. In the light of the darkness brings hope to every day, and guides my steps when I've lost my way. I am home, I am loved, I belong. I feel the joy of singing an old familiar song. Wherever journey takes me, wherever I may roam, I know my heart will always lead me home.
If I searched the whole world over, nothing could compare to the peace I feel whenever I am here.
I am home, I am loved, I belong. I feel the joy of singing an old familiar song.
Wherever my journey takes me, wherever I may roam,
I know my heart will always lead me home.
wherever my journey takes me, wherever I may roam,
I know my heart will always lead me home.
So now it's time to give back to where we have been blessed. And we have a blessing that's on the screen, I think. Yes, we have a gratitude practice. And so I ask you to hold your tithes and offerings in your hand and say with me, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And we also will be singing a song together. I give my hands in service. I open my heart to love. Oh, when I count my blessings, outnumber the stars above. Thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. You are with me, come what may. And in gratitude, I give to you the best of me today. The best of me today. So let me tell you, I'm getting ready to bless this offering, and then you're going to need to stay seated because we have a surprise. Okay? So, living, loving Spirit, we just bless these tithes and offerings. They have been given from that space of love, and this ministry receives these blessings from that space of love. And we know that these blessings, this love, will flow back out into the universe, blessing every institution, every person, everyone that receives this love. We also know that we are taught, as we give, so shall we receive. And those blessings will be heaped up, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, for that's the law, and so it is. And so it is. You want to say something about what's happening? So there's a special presentation. Just hold your horses.
I first came to Unity Church in 1981. I met her, and she quickly became my friend. Over the years, she went from being my friend to my mother figure to my mentor, back to my mother figure. She was like a grandmother to my son. Maxine was quick to put together the original yard sale. She would get out there, and Harold, who used to run our library, was one of her best friends. They've been known to dumpster dive. They have brought so many things into the church and put it all together. We would spend a day tagging everything and having these big sales to bring in money to donate to the church.
There's been constant changes since I've been in this church since 1993. We've gone from 2 services to 1 service. We've gone from a choir to not having a choir to now having a choir again. But the one constant thing was Maxine Caruth. Maxine Caruth is the godmother of my religious life.
She never left this church, no matter what. In all these years, all the changes in the church, Maxine is a constant.
The strongest person I know is my 96-year-old mother. For over 4 decades, she has been a cornerstone of our Unity family, faithfully serving in many roles. To say I am blessed to call her my mom barely scratches the surface. She is my inspiration, my anchor, and truly one of my greatest gifts. Love you, Mama.
My siblings and I assisted Mom and Mr. Perry with yard sales to raise funds for the church. We would spend mornings working in the kitchen, and later, as Mom even served on the board. If I ever hesitated, she'd remind me the bicycle was not going to ride itself today. My mother's faith was unyielding, and she would seamlessly integrate the teachings of Unity into our daily lives. Being part of this church has brought my mom immense joy, transforming not just her life, but ours as well.
Maxine Caruth, what a pain in my... She's going to be so mad. This woman's going to stay around for 100 years because I promised her on her 100th birthday that I would do a big party free. And don't you know, she's going to make it. I think one of the things that makes Maxine special is consistency. She's been consistent here at the church and has weathered many a storms. We are grateful for you, Maxine, and the only way we knew how to honor you is to create something like sit a spell. So you're about to see the new Mother Caruth sitting garden that we are proud to present to the Unity family on this homecoming day. Take a look.
Maxine is my friend. she is a dear, wise woman who I adore.
I met Joan Kennedy in 2016 when I attended one of her classes. As I'm sitting in class, I'm watching her, I'm listening to her, and I'm thinking, where do I know this woman from? She is so familiar. I was sitting next to her, Joan, in church during a service, and I felt all of a sudden an energy between us moving back and forth. I have never felt this energy before. After that day, I began to understand who Joan really is.
But Joan truly inspires me, not because she's our gifted licensed Unity teacher, but because it did not take me very long to see how deeply devoted she's been to understanding the knowledge and the wisdom of the Unity principles. But my most memorable time was our tour of Unity Village. As we walked the campus, of course, we reflected on the beauty and the history of the campus. But it was then where I realized that we were both a part of soul seekers who have dared to believe in the transformative power of truth.
I think the most important thing about Joan is her tenacity, her ability to reach those who think they can't be reached to, if that makes sense. The ability to bring spirituality in a way that is not scary, not offensive, and yet brings people out of their shell to really experience the fulfillment of life. We decided, you know, what we need to do is honor our Joan. And so I'm here to present to you the Joan Campbell Kennedy Meditation Garden. So how grateful we are for Maxine Carruth and Joan Campbell Kennedy, not only to celebrate with you on our 109th homecoming anniversary, but also to look around on the legacy that you will leave. And we are grateful for all that is here. We hold you, Reverend Cherie, in our prayers as well. And thank you for coming and joining us. You were instrumental on creating the payoff of this church that we now call home. On behalf of the board of Unity of Trustees, I want to thank you for trusting us to move this path forward. You see all the new happenings, the new and redo. It doesn't happen just because, it happens because we create it. So thank you for being a part of this beautiful journey, and we take it back to you for the rest of the celebration.
So for the woman that's been, can you hear me okay? For the woman that's been 109 homecomings, please stand, and also Miss Joan Kennedy, so that we can just celebrate you. Maxine Carruth and Joan Campbell Kennedy, we are honored to be in your presence, and we love you. You bring our home here. Thank you.
Maxine, if you remember, I told you last night there was more to come. Just didn't tell you what it was going to be, did I? So, I know everybody is hungry and ready, so let's stand and sing the peace song and pray out. And if I've got some chaplains and practitioners, meet me down front.